Oh, Kissay! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO, delivered by Menulog. It is time once again for Menulog Mealtime, where we discuss all things food, all things good, some league-related stuff too, but then have a little bit of fun. And it's also time for you guys at home to win yourselves a $30 Menulog voucher by typing MENUPOG in the chat. Make sure you get it in there right now, and you can go into the running to win one of many codes. Who knows? If you type it and you win, you'll find that one out, and you get yourself $30 worth of dinner. And look, the topic today, because, of course, as you all know, it is International Pineapple Day. I want to know your favorite kind of pineapple. Flavored substance or thing.
Pineapple pizza.
Hey? Ooh, starting spicy.
I'm going to say, and this is a personal thing with pineapples.
Yes.
Either in the bin.
So bin flavored pineapple?
No, pineapple in the bin. Or I actually like pineapple juice. That is the only thing that I like that is pineapple
juice goes
flavor.
hard.
Pineapple juice? Yeah, pineapple juice slaps. But don't like pineapple.
Yeah.
You guys know about the canned pineapples? I mean, it's kind of similar to pineapple juice because it's like half juice. Yeah, it's just a circle. Then
Or
it's
you
like
can
a
get it in the syrup, or you can get it in the juice. The juice always tastes better. Anyway, yep.
But yeah, I don't really think I enjoy anything that's not
Canned?
in the... Wait.
Like in the garbage, like Rusty's pineapple?
No.
Canned pineapple.
But
Goated.
yeah, I like canned pineapple. I think it tastes sweeter.
That's good.
I do like, well, you know, you can get the fresh stuff, but I feel like if I think of pineapple, not only pineapple juice, but you know the lollies, like the pineapples you'd get in like party mixes and stuff.
Okay.
You know what?
Mm.
Shout out to all my Kiwis out there. Pineapple lumps. Goated.
Pineapple
Yes.
what?
Pineapple lumps. It's a chocolate in New Zealand.
Oh, it's a chocolate.
Oh,
yeah,
lumps.
pineapple
Oh,
flavored chocolate's pretty good.
I think
Yeah.
I've actually had those before.
You should have had them.
And they're pretty damn good.
You
Oh, you guys were there the
tell
other
I only
week.
told you
should
about
have
the
had
hokey
some. You should have bloody had some. Either way,
We didn't have enough time.
that is it for Menulog Mealtime. We don't have enough time to keep talking about pineapples, but it is time to talk about the match of the week, which is coming up right now, PGG and Direwolves. Let's have a look at this star-studded roster. Direwolves, they're on the come-up, Skimmy, and tell me why.
They are, because look, they're in second spot, tied at the moment with Pentanet right now, which is huge. Absolutely huge for them. Look, they're going to be trying to take on Pentanet and upset the balance of having not beaten them in over 5 games now. So it's nearly a year to the date they last took a dub off Pentanet. But ultimately, they found themselves in a really strong start. We said, yeah, strength of schedule was in their favor. They're up against some of the easier teams. They should be in a position where they're technically 4-0, or could have been 4-0 rather. But ultimately, they've come back with a lot of resolve. Look at this game here in particular. They went up against the heavy hitters and Chiefs. Danteh was at a certain point 5-0, which just seems absolutely criminal. The one downside was the fact that he didn't really get a chance to exercise that gold lead he had to go back to base to then truly flourish and snowball out of control. But the fact that he got 5-0 in the first place just shows that, you know, they can wrestle with the best. Obviously, Bulldawg got the counter pick into the rail. That got Rusty really excited, right? He gets the Gragas to try and shut it down. So I think they're very, very flexible in their approach and are not afraid to deviate away from the norm to achieve their result.
I feel like, look, this one in particular shows just how strong they can be. Even up against the best team in the lead, they got that early lead. However, you call it a lead. You look at the gold. Somehow Chiefs, whenever they're down, they're always able to keep that gold difference looking pretty much in their favor. They always just make the right macro decision. Anyway, that's just a recap of last week. Direwolves in particular, we've just enjoyed how well they've worked together with Poltron coming in the jungle, just having that extra insight, extra calling ability in the team. It just seems to be working so wonderfully, and this is their test against PGG. This is where we finally get to split both of these teams on the leaderboard, because they're tied for second right now, and Pentanet, they want to stay in that silver medal position here on the ladder for the moment, Kitty. And who are we looking at today to really take us home?
My eyes have always been on the mid jungle for PG, although Winter has had some funky picks in the past to kind of surprise us with the set, and I believe it was Swain. But we do have 2 second place teams going up against each other tonight. But people actually didn't expect one team to be second place, while PGG was the expected second place. So this game will be quite interesting because I think PGG will have a really big ego check for tonight's match up against Dials if they win or lose as a result.
100%. And I feel like, looking back at their last game, of course, the win condition, as mentioned at the top of the show, is don't go to a base race because PGG don't have a very good record with those. So maybe winning a bit earlier than getting back to the deep late game, Rusty.
Yeah, they certainly have struggled a bit with those base races. I mean, when will they get their dues is the question. So maybe you keep trying and by logic they'll win the next one, right? Because the chances that they finally win one must be higher, surely, by this stage. But that's a bit of gambler's luck. PGG have much more that they can focus on other than luck to get them those wins back. And I think a lot of that is allowing Yuri to actually carry because he's been doing really well. Yeah,
he's been doing really, really well there in the mid lane. BalKhan has had a couple of rough games recently, but then he also had a huge couple of performances really early on in the split. So always eyes on him as well because you know he's going to limit test to win or limit test to accidentally go the other way. But I heard you got someone on the line.
Yes, we do have the man Poltron for tonight's interview. So, Poltron.
Hello, hello. Great to be back.
Hey.
Hello, hello. How have you been doing, mate? You showed up a bit late, so I was a bit confused.
No worries. I've been doing well, just prepping over the weekend, last week for the big two matches for us this week. We have Pentanet tonight and Peace tomorrow. So yeah, feeling good overall.
So look, last week you guys really took it out early against the Chiefs. You had a solid start. Are we expecting, something early today from you guys, or are you going to be looking to scale? Like, what's the game plan, or is it top secret?
Well, I'd say it's top secret. Wait and see, but we're definitely prepared for tonight. I'll just say that. I'll just say that. Nothing else. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful indeed. And I do know that you are very fond of the Volibear in the jungle, and we do see Wukong with an 83% win rate in the current patch. So being a previous coach yourself, what are your thoughts on the current meta for jungle and how it impacts the entire map?
Well, I think in other regions, especially the LPL and the LCK, teams often just trade Wukong and Viego as they think the other junglers aren't too great and there are other priority picks they want. But at least from the LCO stats, Viego has a terrible win rate into Wukong. You know, Wukong's won nearly every LCO match from my knowledge. So I wouldn't recommend giving Wukong over unless you have a really good counter pick. But I don't think Viego's actually all that into Wukong.
Okay, now I've got one more question. And PGG, they've got some very solid lanes, very solid all across the damn rift. Who would you say is their scariest, or your scariest opposition in terms of that team? Because day to day, you don't know what you're going to get with a lot of these players.
Well, I think all their players are good individually, but the one that stands out to me is definitely BalKhan. I think after analyzing all of his games, you know, doing my little coaching work, I'll just say it like that, knowing his common paths, his champion pool, I think tonight, as long as I can keep BalKhan controlled, as long as he can't open the game up in the first 10 to 15 minutes and allow the other players in the team, and often Praedyth on a hyper carry to, you know, scale and 1v9 the team fights, I think will be the victors for tonight's game.
Some very great insight coming out of Poltron. Well, best of luck in your match up against PGG, and see you next week. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
I hope he has a good game. I'm loving this, you know, coach in the jungle, man, just doing like high-level analysis of jungle paths, what he wants to play, where he's going to go, just trying to read it, look at the clock, go, oh, where is he? There he is. Oh, you know, tracking. It's like a hunter, right?
Yeah, he's a bit of a hunter.
Do you guys think jungle is the most hard role to play because you have to track the enemy jungler?
Kind of, but like you also can have laners track jungler with you, right? So like in a way, it depends on how your team dynamic is. If your jungler's the alpha, then jungle's probably the easiest role because your laners ward for you. But if you're the beta of the team, you're warding for your laners, jungling sucks. So it's all about how Giga Chad you are, for sure.
Yeah, but no matter what, it's always the jungler's fault. Now, you guys get your dare points, your Twitch points in for the dare fan vote. Let us know how you think this one's going to go, because I think this one is, you know, closer than it looks on paper, because Dial's been playing crazy.
Yep.
PGG couldn't get it over the line against Peace. Some days they're looking great. Some days they're looking a little bit rough around the edges. So I don't even know which way this one's going to go. So your vote right now matters because I want to see what the community thinks. I feel like it's probably still going to be PGG favored just because I know that the PGG fan base is larger since PGG went to Worlds. Made a lot of big fans last year. But this is what we think is going to happen, and I'm going. This is my underdog pick, because I wouldn't say they're the underdogs, but you know, for the last couple of weeks we've said, oh, they're coming up, they're doing well, but now it's the point where it's like, are they going to solidify that second position after the first round robin, which is crazy to think about because no one would have had them that high in their power rankings at the start of this split. Rusty, why have you gone with PGG?
I mean, I think that PGG are the better team if they show up as the better team today. There's obviously a lot of different things that we can't tip for predicting, right? Like draft, like are they actually playing, you know, to win? Or are they trying things out? You'll never actually know with this team until you see them competing. We know Direwolves will start strong. We know they put their best foot forwards every single time. I just have more faith that the Pentanet.gg have the players to still find the win, as long as it's not a backdoor race.
Well, I'll tell you what angle it is. It's a champ select angle. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to jump on into the match of the week. Get ready, because it's going to bang.
It may just. Let's see if it does. Because, pretty exciting. The battle for second. They're tied at the moment. Really curious to see what kind of angle they go into this one. How they look to try and approach it, right? Because the Taliyah's been banned away. That makes sense. You definitely know that it can be now flexed in mid and jungle. The Wukong's been denied away, so now you're saying to BalKhan, what is your, if you want to go for first pick jungle, what is that go-to?
That is the question. Is it worth going for the Viego as an outright blind first pick, right? Or is it going to be something a little bit more team focused, right? The Volibear for Direwolves is an angle that they've shown that they'll always have. Both of these players, which is super weird, have played Kindred this split. So it's worth keeping that in mind. Of course, I think going for the Sejuani removes the Kindred as a possibility for PGG at all. But the blind Sejuani is open to, the Gnar. I was going to say Kayle still exists. Ezreal is still up and available. Senna compositions are still well and truly there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Pentanet.gg tried to lock that one in as their 2-3. But going for the Sejuani, perhaps they've got a priority in the jungle that they want to lock in first, right? This is where the Viego comes in to be actually a really nice pick for a composition.
So it does. They've only played the Sejuani top once. That was with a Wukong and a Kali to be quite aggressive on the map. Graves was always BalKhan's default, right, for such a long time, so it makes sense.
They've just picked a range champion with Sejuani.
Yeah.
So they don't have the passive combo stacking up.
Just doesn't care.
So they just don't care.
BalKhan is the Giga Chad.
He just doesn't care.
He will do it on his own.
He just pick me Graves.
I don't need your passive, just chuck out an ult.
Why are we Sejuani? Why? This is one of the games where that Sej first pick makes me confused. It could be any other champion.
You're scratching your head harder than usual.
The LEC first picks Yuumi, by the way.
Got to that point.
Yeah, I'm glad we haven't, but it certainly is getting closer and closer. Where there is Ezreal, there's always a risk of Yuumi. Direwolves, I feel like, have gone for a fairly passive start to their draft. A lot of reliance now is going to be on the jungle and mid combo to see what they can actually put together. Syuman, we know, Lissandra, Akali can play the engaged mages as well. Ahri is one of his best. That's been banned away.
Yeah.
Certainly possible that we see something hyper-aggressive around mid-jungle, and that's the catalyst for Direwolves' success to actually get them scaling up. But we're in bans, and you're already seeing that targeted.
They certainly are targeting it, aren't they? You remove away the Akali as well as the Ahri right now, looking to try and really limit Syuman's proficiency on comfort, but also trying to dissuade the idea of Direwolves retaining that playstyle of just pick, right? They've been such a heavily incentivized team just to get those initial 1 to 2 members, those stragglers taken away, make it an unfair fight, and then sort of win out games as a result on that term. Azir and Zoe being denied as a response. So really making sure that Pentanet won't have any kind of annoying harass to answer back the Ezreal.
Does make you wonder what Syuman's going to be picking here. Jungle's the most likely 4th pick, given that it's already been picked by PGG. You should just be able to find a champion that answers. Probably not going to be something like the Trundle, but Trundle works really nicely with the rest of your team. Volibear can work. I think it's the most likely, and it will be locked in by Direwolves. Right, has the chance to dive with the Gnar on top side, has the ability to pure really nicely for the flip side on disengage. And to no one's surprise ever, Pentanet.gg see the Twitch in game 1, they say, absolutely, the floodgates are open, let's do it.
Yeah. Praedyth was the first to play it, and then Puma played up against him in that playoff final and said, I can do it one better. Maybe inspired, having tuned in to see that first game.
I feel like if you Corki, Syuman will counter you with an assassin, so it's not as safe as other teams might be to just blind Corki into. Azir and Zoe taken off the board. I feel like that was Direwolves trying to bottleneck him towards like a Corki Victor champion. But the Vladimir to be locked in is definitely a bit of a curveball for a lot of drafts. And the response of the Sylas here, lots of solid ultimates to take. Rakan, Sejuani, 2 massive ones, to say the least.
Absolutely. We have seen now this will be a second game for Yuri. They actually started off their split with this Vladimir Graves pairing in the mid lane to try and get the ball rolling. They obviously played it with Illusion Nami, a lot of aggression, but insane team fight control was the main takeaway from that one, right? You initiate, you Hemoplague literally the entire roster, and somebody may just get one tap before the likes of Sustain, before the setup can really take and sort of flourish from that of Direwolf. So I don't mind what PGG have got, but it is a little bit squishy.
I mean, yeah, squishy is one way to look at it, but they're also slippery, so that's the compensation for it in a sense, right? Sylas is very flexible, Volibear is very flexible, Gnar can be, depending on the formula and how you want to play it out. Gnar versus Sejuani, we would say that a good Gnar should be fine in that lane, if not happily going even, which into Ignite Sejuani's is a pretty big positive, but there's volatility there early. So as long as they get through those parts of the game, I think Direwolves with their composition we're pretty happy. This doesn't feel like a prototypical Direwolves composition that we're used to seeing. It's not a real pick-centric Jhin composition. It is an Ezreal Yuumi. But we have seen a successful Ezreal from Danteh before. We have seen a lot of successful games from these players on the champions they have. But now they have to put it all together against the powerhouse team.
That's a new pick from Siuman, because literally every single game has just been pivoting between Akali and Ahri. So he wants to be A tier, he wants to be popping off. And I think Sylas, as you already mentioned, right, has a lot of options in terms of what he can deny and what he can look to utilize against his opposition for that for that potential team fight, right? What do they need? Do they need the engage? Do they need the elusiveness? Do they need the extra damage? Whatever they're after will certainly be their bread and butter. But Danteh will be no doubt thinking, what can I do on this Ezreal, right? He's certainly one that is going to be quite aggressive. You've got a Yuumi in your head as well. We do know that Bulldawg was very keen to be playing a lot of these Karma games as well. So certainly if they can get a lead to start things off with, then they can really keep this Twitch at bay.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to lose early. You don't want to give any kind of advantages like we saw from Puma and Corporal in game number 1. Don't give everything to the Twitch early. Don't give everything to the Vladimir as well, right? Scaling team fighting is obviously very much a prolific factor here for Pentanet.gg. Winter at BalKhan probably going to be the active early movers. 8-minute Rift Herald's going to be a pretty big deal as well here once they hit level 6 as a composition around that benchmark timing here. Winter and Rogue working together. Rogue also high DPS with the Vladimir Hemoplague he can put down. It's going to be a really impactful 5v5 team fights. And Praedyth with one of his signature picks got a big point to prove.
Big point to prove, and a big game for you guys at home to watch. It is match of the week. It is the battle for second outright, as they are tied right now 4-2. And they cannot continue that record for much longer. Round robin number 1 is coming to a close, and they'll be looking to finish it on their terms. So let's load into the Rift then, and let's check in with the coaching staff, this time from the side of the Direwolves. Velexis, joining me on the line. How are you, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, good. I mean, always excited to have another week of action to go about on. But
For sure.
bit of a convoluted question for you. I suppose, what was it like preparing for tonight's game, given that yourself and Pentanet share just so many different emphasis on these key objectives, like the turrets and First Herald?
Very exciting. I do love a good bloodbath. I love watching teams just like skirmish it out. And so obviously we scrimmed, we meditated, we did breathing techniques, and we did some good karaoke to The Climb by Miley Cyrus to really capture what this split is about, which is The Climb.
Oh, is that the song? Is that the go-to?
It's not gonna lie, it's more me doing all the singing and everyone saying shut up, but it's a banger. It is a banger.
Certainly, absolutely. Well, I'm curious to see, going into this game, were you surprised by any of the bans they threw your way? Obviously, a big focus on towards Siuman to make him play something different.
I respect that. I'm glad someone finally banned Akali. Ahri ban was fine. Lucian ban was a little bit suspect, but I'm not gonna lie, Praedyth does have a little tendency to play more of the hyper carries, so also not surprised in that regard. But yeah, to be honest, not really surprised. Like the Karma ban especially, like every time we go into draft, I'm always like, yeah, boys, I'm pretty sure we're not getting Karma because Dre's just too goated on it.
He certainly is. He's played that a fair few times. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you at that. I'm very excited for this match of the week, so best of luck to you and the boys.
Too easy. Have a good one.
All right, well, we missed a whole lot of action at level 1 that I'm really sad we had to have a coach interview for that specific reason. Always good to hear from Velixis, but Direwolves, I feel like, had an extremely hard read. like an extremely hard read from level 1 vision placed all the way to where they were. The fact that Volibear got the E down to preempt going over the wall for the play gets so much damage down. Volibear has one of the highest base damages. All right.
We're getting confused right now. That's a detached cap.
It must have hit, from the looks of it, I'm assuming here Rogue hit a flash W onto Bulldawg and cancelled any kind of reattachment. So
would make sense.
They'll get a response. The main point that I wanted to make, and we're missing the vision now, and it's a real shame we don't get to talk about it with the proof there, but Dial's placed the ward at level 1 that didn't get swept by the pathing of PGG. And if Poltron wants to come into interviews and talk about his planning and getting a hard read of the jungle, that ward shows where they're moving. The fact that they get to the blue buff with intent to fight, Volibear wasting an ability on a bush means he knows they're there. Shows that they knew exactly what PGG were doing and they bested them. Tragic they die afterwards for the Direwolves, but a great start.
That's why I found this one so interesting, because I think one of the key characteristics we took away from both of these teams is that we know there's going to be a lot of early action. They're very skirmish heavy. They're very keen to try and draw big gold leads by that 15-minute mark, and a lot of that comes from getting kills or getting tempo or getting those first turrets. I mean, you look at Pentnet, the only team in the league that 100% of the time have got that first turret. You don't get that by chance.
No, not at all. Also, just while we're looking at junglers right now moving around each other, Poltron swept vision, knows the blue buff is up. He's coming to say hello.
He's done his research so well, hasn't he? Once again, the Thunder comes crashing on down, looking to try and take out BalKhan. Now, Yuri's in a very advanced position. Winter is collapsing. Poltron's not backing away, though. He's going to go and take this 1v3 unless he's forced to be flashed out like this. Hits a smite onto a blue, but it's just not enough. He had the jump, but ultimately numbers were against him.
Yeah, just didn't have the reinforcements from his team, so a little bit too far. I mean, you can go for the first bit of harass, but Winter is too fast to move, and Zorenous just doesn't get there. He's pushing top instead. And it seemed like Zorenous had a lot of control of top lane when we panned towards it, right? It did feel like Zorenous was in the driver's seat, but was actually even in farm with a wave of like 12 minions crashing. So the crazy thing here is that by Winter removing towards that blue buff play, he has fallen behind in farm, missed like 10 minions, but gets the kill, so it doesn't matter. Top's actually still ahead. Jungle gets his own camps, he's still ahead. Zorenous,
he might just be dead here. He's just going to get run down by the red buff.
He's so lucky he had a minion to jump onto. Had flash at the very least, and Ignite was used onto Poltron, so the smite didn't get any value from the Volibear, but that was just too far from Poltron, to put it simply. Opens the floor to a little bit too much for PGG, and suddenly we're back to an even game.
Certainly are. For all those shenanigans in those early moments of this game, it is Pensnet back in the driving seat with a gold lead 5 minutes in. And they'll be feeling ever so much more comfortable with where they find themselves now. But, I mean, you can't fault the prep, right, from that first blood into the fact that he does know exactly where BalKhan is. Just a shame that his team weren't in position to reinforce as well.
Even just then, you saw Siuman walk from mid lane to place a ward at Krugs. It'll get swept. So the mistake is that he places it directly on the camp to get confirmation that it's being done. But they'll see BalKhan. They know exactly where he is. They know he's going to pass from Krugs to Raptors, because that's the order of camp spawning. And now is the one time that BalKhan can get active and look for ganks, because there's no camp on the map. But they know that because they also have a ward there. Scuttle's already secured. So they're always one step ahead. The logical path is going to be the Drake, but I don't know if they'll expect it because PGG got over the wall and Scuttle grabs a bit of false confidence. We'll see. They are moving.
Certainly is. It may just be Praedyth revealing himself, but he's invisible at the moment, so they won't have any idea until now. In comes Poltron with a cat on his hat. Getting ever so confident about his smite stealing abilities. He jumps on through and he lands it. He denies that first Drake going in the favor of Pentnet. Now he needs to get out. Can he get out? He cannot. The claws weren't there for the lifesteal, for the regen, or for the ability to try and stand around a little bit longer. Danteh, though, trying to go for a bit of a 1v9 so early on, looking for that final auto, but he can't get onto Rogue. Siuman's going to now try and play cleanup crew. He's sitting on a double right now. He's now got the cat in his head. Bop and block, make it a shield, make it a heal, and make it look ever so clean. There is the triple. Give us that quad so early on. The volatility, it's really all there to see. Oh, he's so close to the chains.
Yeah, he's lucky he's got the puddle there. Yuri will get himself out alive, but a 4-0 Sylas to contend with. And Bulldawg just quietly achieving that entire team fight. Left untouched as a sign that the Yuumi was doing its job. Look at the damage done. I mean, Poltron, we're not going to count his smite damage to the Drake, but he secured the objective, so that's a part of it. He comes in here first, Bulldawg in hand. We spoke about how predictable this was, but Praedyth reveals it. And unfortunately, the mistake here, and I'll be perfectly honest, is Praedyth showing it all because he opens the floodgates. Yuri has first move, but Dante's able to deal damage this entire time. Bulldawg reattaches to the Rakan, ultimate stolen away, We spoke about this in Champ Select. Just so much value that comes from stealing that one away as Sylas. And then again, just cycling passive cooldowns. Syuman has heals, Yuumi has heals, and an easy triple to be seen. With the potential of a quadra here if the puddle wasn't ready right now as a reaction. That was close.
Very close to being a very early on quad. But the versatility, as you highlight on that occasion, you take away the quickness from the Rakan. Later on in this game, you certainly got a plethora of different options to try and mix and match the circumstances as they stand. But 4-0, and you're thinking, yeah, sure, I've got the grievous wounds early on in that 1v1, but how do we try and shut down the Sylas now?
Yeah, Yuri also not going for Ignite, has chosen the Ghost. Syuman is the one who has the Ignite in the matchup, which does make sense, but Yuumi going for heal and exhaust instead. Zorenous has ult.
He's just been glacial fissured, locked in place, forced to jump away. Cops an Ignite as well. Thankfully for him, that gank happened whilst he was still mega.
Poltron's going to body Yuri away. Rogue's just going to take some damage here. There's no real threat of him dying. Herald is the play. All eyes go to the Herald. Summoner spells missing almost across the board. Syuman Ignite up in like 15 seconds. No flash. Poltron, no flash, no smite.
Well, these would be our Herald teams leading the tar at the very top, showcasing that they are the ones that want to contest at every given opportunity.
There's no Gnar here and it's 2,000 health. If you're Direwolves, you want to reset this. Or just keep it busy. And Pentanet.gg with 5 members here
Just been staunched off.
have just conceded the Herald with no efforts given towards it. And that is because, one, Sejuani is your source of engage unless Rakan is level 6. The deaths from bot lane have stunted a lot of the experience gain from bot lane. They're not going to be 6 for Herald. And so they don't have a Rakan to engage that one. Level 5 is your standard, right, for supports getting to the Herald. You're reliant on Winterer throwing out the ultimate that he just threw onto Zorenous, and all Zorenous did was walk away with the Merc Treads, jump to safety.
Pretty much. Ultimately copped to summon it and said, well, there's your engage threat down. Bit disastrous really there for Pentanet. The fact that they did have the numbers advantage but didn't have the skirmishing potential to feel confident in their ability to contest that in a 50-50, having only lost in very similar fashion that dragon down below.
I do respect the decision though, Skimmy, to just say it's fine, it's gone. Like, let's not overcommit ourselves to something that we think is lost. Whether or not it was lost doesn't matter. It's the decision that I like.
Sure.
That they did it together. There wasn't, BalKhan saying, I'm going, and Rogue saying, why are we going, or something like that happening. There was no
all on the same page.
They're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
The Twitch scales, the Vlad scales, right? They've got a lot to deal with on the opposing side. But there is still some kind of comfort, some kind of solace in the fact that they are comfortable just getting items and staying in lane.
It's one thing to say, don't worry, we scale, and another thing to say, well, now suddenly the Sylas is 6-0, whatever that could have been.
There's so many control wards. This is a Graves nightmare. He's lucky he has the Umbral Glaive now because there was literally like 4 control wards to clear in the river. Big part of that play, of course, was a lot of control that Direwolves had when they slowly pushed them away, right? A smiteless Volibear makes it pretty difficult, but here they go. Herald in hand, Volibear level 6.
Patiently waiting out of vision right now, but reveals himself at the last moment, forcing Rogue to disengage away to the waiting arms of that switch. And won't need to use that ultimate anytime soon, just wants to zone them from this turret. That's 2 plates claimed. Also, inline track here from Siuman, really cutting off any flank. I mean, Yuri can't get there. He's zoned at his own tower, farming up a wave. The Herald's going to be summoned as well. That's a guaranteed first turret. Now, that means Pentanet's record's gone.
Yeah, summon. Herald get first tower, straight to the Drake after as well if you want to, right? Disengage straight to the objective. BalKhan's resetting towards the bottom side of the map. And remember with how long it took BalKhan to clear vision around the Herald, they have so much time to make the play at bottom, right? It is wildly successful. They've stretched the gold lead out to about 2,000. They'll secure this uncontested also. And Pentanet.gg are not trading on the map. They are farming bottom. They're accepting the L. Graves is hovering while still losing. There's no proactivity being seen. They're just left responding to the movements of Direwolves.
That's why I found this matchup going to be so exciting, right? Because we do hype up Bulldawg, BalKhan as being one of those very aggressive, hard to try and deal with junglers, but he's not unkillable, right? He's not undealable with, if you will, as in that, he has shown vulnerabilities in the past without he being too aggressive. In this case, obviously, he's being very much on the same page as everybody else, but it's a vulnerability in this game for a very different reason, right? More so from the read of how Direwolves are collapsing and sort of asserting themselves in a strategic form.
I think the pace of the game has really stunted Pentanet.gg. Oh,
That's pretty quick though. That'll certainly look to try and find that first kill in the bot lane. On towards Zorenous. They threw literally everything and the kitchen sink at it. Thankfully for them, they get the kill, and luckily for Praedyth, he doesn't fall on down.
yeah, if he went for one more auto space there, he actually dies to the turret. They'll get themselves the kill. Very nicely done. Unfortunate was the ignite of Rogue that gets it over all the damage of time that's there from Praedyth, but nevertheless, they take down Zorenous. They'll get plates bottom. They find a moment to be proactive. Direwolves, how are they going to trade on the opposing side of the map is the question. Yuri doesn't feel safe for good reason. Needs eyes on Poltron to decide his next move.
As we is now though, things go out thick and fast. He's topside. It's everything that Pentanet needed though to open up that lane phase to get those plates, as you say. But Danteh and Bulldawg are controlling mid lane. And Zorenous rocks up back to try and deny BalKhan from any cheeky little counter jungling of his own to flash into a blast cone because he's that scared.
Meanwhile, mid.
Poltron's looking for the kill. Slams down with the ult. Looking for the kill on towards Yuri, but the shield is just enough so he doesn't tick down to poison. Gnar's here. And the kill's not to be found.
No Graves ultimates to come out from Fog of War. In fact, Zorenous has found himself a control ward, and the remnants of BalKhan's shadow not going to actually find him. Just pressuring mid lane is Direwolves, feeling extremely comfortable in this game. This is always, you know, when you came into this game, you're expecting a little bit more explosive action between both of these teams. They've got some volatile early games compared to other teams in the league. Direwolves very good 15-minute stats, right? They took it to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They kept up with the Chiefs early. Had a win con, just made one mistake at a fight, and it's a fatal flaw against the Chiefs. But they don't look like slowing down here. A couple of very early mistakes that were punished by Pentanet.gg. Still only 1,000 gold up, but it feels like well and truly in the driver's seat.
It does. Got some very nice item spikes as well to talk about. Obviously, Everfrost is there for the Sylas. Now the Chem Tank has come out here for Poltron as well with the completed tier 2 boots, obviously running Predator. Very hard to try and run away from him. Probably the only person that's super adept is going to be the likes of Rogue here. If they find the target they're after, it's on for Direwolves.
You know, I feel like we're in a world where if first picks in drafts are going to be a Sejuani blind for the purpose of just not being punished in lane, red side feels like a stronger side of the map. That's just my take on it, right? If your first pick isn't so valuable because you're just all banning OP champions, that what you gain is just an okay champion, then you would always want to be on the red side of the map.
Sure.
Just something that I was thinking about while we have a bit of downtime here, nothing being contested on the map at all. Bot turret for a trade means you're going to get a Herald summon top lane. Winterer knows this now. He sees a controller. That's confirmation that he's not safe. Even the fact that he's staying here might just be for experience at best. He doesn't want to contest this whatsoever. And again, BalKhan hovers the area because he doesn't want 2 turrets to fall or anything, but is doing nothing but respond to camp late, a camp down. And it means that Graves isn't getting too far ahead.
Ahead in farm, but ultimately in terms of map pressure, that will be the second Herald netting Direwolves the second turret of the game for themselves. Certainly the first move to then reset, look elsewhere, and keep Pentanet occupied. Obviously a big item advantage as well there in the bot lane for the Ezreal. One of the big reasons you want to lock that champion in nice and early, right? Try and get that cheap item spike. Certainly found that.
Yeah, cheap and scaled, right? It is the Muramana, not the Manamune. Compared to the one item of Praedyth right now, this Ezreal is game-winning in terms of current strength. Play around Danteh. Teleport is going to be there. Drake up in 10 seconds. I would be shocked if Direwolves didn't go all in for this one. A rally around their ADC and their 4-0 mid laner with the stopwatch ready.
Certainly give you that early game win condition.
Look at Rogue right now.
Rogue completely unchecked. He's got a flash ignite
there.
ult. He could absolutely turn this fight on its head right now. In he goes, one-man ult straight away on towards the Sylas. He's gone golden, out goes Zorenous. Tried to hit Mega, died before it procced. The Dragon's been engaged now. Direwolves just need to run away. Poltron sprinting to the bottom lane. The rest of his team have left him, but Pentanet have one goal in mind. Shut this Volibear down. But Direwolves collapse! They collapse straight on towards BalKhan, who thought he had the inline track. He thought he had a shortcut, Rusty, but the shortcut was his demise.
I mean, Pentanet.gg just died of tunnel vision. They lose sight, they lose presence of the rest of the team, and Direwolves, I mean, Why would you commit 5 people to trying to flank a Volibear when the rest of the team is missing on the map? Just too far forward. Way too much effort from PGG, and again, no patience. That's one big thing I'm seeing from this team. Praedyth is going to do some damage to Danteh, but bottom's fighting.
Yeah. Nice blood pool there by Yuri. Otherwise, once again, could have been in some serious spot above it. But as you say, I mean, almost felt like Penta saying this is illegal, that they can get in, they can get the dragon, and they can get away.
They absolutely can. They're stronger, right? It's like the reality is this fight goes better than perhaps you would expect for Pentanet.gg. They use everything onto Siuman, who stopwatches both the Sejuani ultimate and the Rakan ultimate. It was almost a one-man Rakan ult from the perfect flank. Poltron's running away here, and there's no shot 2 people by themselves jump the wall when an Ezreal is looking at them. I mean, that is the most illegal thing you'll ever see. And Rogue's just left to try and get to his team, but they're not going to get there. And what turns into chasing Poltron just ends up being a really tragic death.
Yep, certainly is a tragic case of mind control.
That really was mind control. Poltron just wiggled his butt, and they're like, that Volibear. I mean, he's got to die.
Can't be doing that on the Rift.
The audacity.
How dare you be looking that good right now in front of us, as Winter could be in a lot of trouble right now. Forced to burn the ult nice and early on, but is that enough to try and save him? I don't think it is. The CC between that of a Sylas and that of a Yuumi, I mean, so hard to evade.
Daryl's continuing to snowball this one now, right? It was about a 1,000 gold difference. It shoots up to 3. PGG are always going to have some semblance of hope here in their team comp to play around, but this can get out of hand way too fast. And this Sylas right now with a Yuumi attached, I mean, just... Oh, that's actually not okay.
Thread the needle. There's no way that ever lands. That's literally Nautilus tech right there. True Shot Barrage comes across. Danteh feeling it. Body blocked by Rogue. Thankfully for him. Have they got him out?
Still collapsing.
Saving Private Yuri, but Siuman flashes forward. The Hemo Plague being stolen away, looking to try and use it against him. Zorenous is actually going to die. No, he's not. He's actually going to get the kill onto BalKhan. And Yuri did die to his own ultimate, adding insult to injury. The mid-jungle is gone.
I mean, they're still chasing. Yuumi's relentless with the movement speed. Siuman's going to make sure there's no safety.
Underneath that turret, where do you go? Out comes the Ohm Wrecker, disabling that structure. Guarantees another kill. Went and started off as 6-0, now 8-0.
I mean, this game's now just going to get Sylas and Yuumi till the end of time. You have to look at healing cut. You have to look at, doesn't matter, because they're so far ahead. The healing cut doesn't do enough. Baron going to be kicked off here 20 minutes on the dot, and this should just be theirs. Pentanet.gg keep just overstepping what is their boundary. They keep just going too far forwards. Direwolves, no hesitation in their punishes. And this game is well and truly out of PGG's hands.
They've got a lead, and they're not showing any signs of slowing down. And this might be the most fun you could ever have as a Yuumi right here. Sat on top of a very fed carry, roaming the map and getting kills no matter where you go. They've got item spikes, they've got strength, and that's a 20-minute Baron.
I mean, Bulldawg at this point can actually take off every key but his heal button and just headbutt the keyboard. Doesn't matter. Most Yuumis do that anyway, to my knowledge. Siuman's too far ahead. It's also the beauty of being able to just pick your poison. Who do you want to jump on? You want the Volibear to be tanky? Do you want the Ezreal to one-hit everyone? Do you want the Sylas to just chase them down relentlessly? PGG have to move forwards if they want a team fight in reality, right? They're not kiting back so well as their composition. They have a 1-in-4 Graves, who's just outranged by the Ezreal, who's outdamaged by the Sylas.
Yeah.
Who can't kill a tank Volibear because he's lethality. This is a nightmare for BalKhan.
I guess it spawns an interesting discussion, right? Because Poltron said, if I'd done my homework correctly and I've identified how to look to try and limit BalKhan's influence, that's a big win for us. But also you mentioned in the draft, why are you locking in a Graves to complement that of a Sejuani if that is your go-to first pick, right? So maybe some question marks there. Yes, it's familiarity. Yes, it's comfort. Yes, we have seen him literally 1v9, but that one vulnerability he has, if Winter's got no ultimate, Pentanet have to be a little bit shy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just picking a first pick champion. It's kind of what I was saying before, right, when I was thinking about it, is like, they just wanted to pick a first champion that doesn't reveal anything. Sejuani's not flexed. It's just picked that doesn't provide, like, it's just a tank that gets through and can engage. So it'll do its job. But in reality, blue side first pick should be able to do more than just his job.
Well, they're going top side looking for a bout, but now Pentanet down bot side are looking for a kill of their own. They found a shot down onto Danteh, which is huge actually for Winterer. They certainly needed that.
Zorenous is going to be a pest here. Wouldn't have been surprised if he continued to look for them, right? They have no engaged left in their team.
Look where Praedyth had to he had to run all the way basically to the enemy base
He
just to
got
get away.
control warded, so he was like, where do we go? But what does that kill mean, Skimmy, right? In reality, it's just going to be a shutdown, some nice money into the pockets. Praedyth has 2 items. Again, we're now just going to trust in Praedyth and Yuri, right? Hit 3 items, hit a team fight together.
Sure.
Maybe they combo 1. That's all it'll take to win this game, but right now the control still well and truly belonging to their opponents in the Wolves. Let's see what happens here. Danteh just face checks Yuri.
Oh, too excited to try
Yeah, he
and
just
take a
face checks him.
Yeah.
That was a bit of mind control. He had no reason being there. Sometimes you just got to chuck your face in and see what's there.
That's what's there apparently. Fortunately just dead. 2 cycles of cooldowns. Another turret gone. They do have soul point. It's a cloud soul. A lot of ultimate reduction and a lot of mobility to continue to be in your face as Pentanet are backed against the wall.
The cool thing about the Cloud Soul as well for Siuman, the bad thing is that when you take the ultimate, you get the movement speed. The good thing is if you hold on to it to reactivate it, you'll have a Rakan ult to go at super speed. Very close.
The animation was very, it was looking a little bit too close for comfort. Flash had to be burnt. Means he would have just popped up again. Unrelenting. D-dubs looking for the dub here. And setting up another strong siege. They've committed everybody here, so no other lane to try and split push. But they're hedging their bets that if they do take a fight, they can win.
So now's that window of opportunity that I was talking about, Skimmy. If Siuman activates the Rakan ultimate, he actually just starts sprinting around the map. Bit of Usain Bolt tech. It's going to be very hard to stop them if they want to engage. That is kind of the mantra of Direwolf's comp here, right? The Volibear to disable turrets. The Sylas to just go hard out with a Mega Gnar. But they don't need to. They really are content to just continue to try and take 100%, right? The high percent victories at this point. Let the Ezreal poke. Find your opportunity, find your opening, and then pick at that opening. But I will say, Skimmy, this game isn't an incomprehensibly large lead. There is still a world where PGG scale into this team fight and win.
It's winnable for them, no doubt, absolutely. 5k lead is all that Direwolves possess right now. Yes, they've got a soul point. Yes, they've got every single dragon and every herald that this game has had to offer. But Pentanet have been holding on. They've been farming up a tree. And we can't forget, you know, that insane wombo they can lay down where literally a charm, a Hemo Plague, and a Twitch that just pops out of nowhere and can just spray and pray. And if he gets one, job done.
I think of it like this. If at any point Yuri and Praedyth are farming a wave, they have a chance. If Direwolves are directly opposing and stopping one of those two from existing in this game, the chance starts to disappear. Yuri, this is definitely an overextension because he really wants this wave. Looks like he'll be able to get it.
He runs to his own bush where the rest of his team is waiting. True Shot Barrage will look to try and reveal. Zorenous still mega. He's got flash as well. He could look to try and shut them into the wall. He hit it onto Yuri, but Yuri went into the blood pool. Out goes the team fight as a result afterwards. Look to try and get that team fight win. Danteh untouched. Danteh so strong. Praedyth is dead. Assassinated by the bear. And Zorenous goes back to mini, but doesn't fall on down. Double kill for Poltron here, looking for that first ace of the game. Onto the elusive carry of Siuman. Oh, he's got him! I thought he'd missed, but that is an ace.
Hey, face plants the wall, but the chains, the E2, just a little bit too powerful. Direwolves here, they've got time, they've got power, and they should have more than enough in the tank to end this game right now.
Tenno Sylas gets it done from start to finish in this one, from that creative level 1 with the tech, the understanding, the research to know exactly what Pentanet's game plan was. 26 minutes in, they're not wasting any time here, Rusty. They want to end, and that's exactly what they'll do.
They'll get themselves a pretty straightforward Nexus secure here. In reality, Direwolves, you would say without a doubt, looking like the better team between the two today. Pentanet.gg, it was messy. Seems like there was a bit of forced play perhaps from them, but they were also hard read. I would encourage everyone to go back and watch the level 1 Vision setup because I didn't get a chance to talk about it. We were in a coach interview.
Yeah.
But the hard read from Direwolves did so much for setting them up to succeed in that game, and that they did.
From start to finish there, Mac, really, I mean, from that level 1 to the fact that then Siuman rocks up and pretty much wipes the floor with them, and from that point onwards, as I was saying, and I'm sure Kitty can attest to it as well, Yuumi on that head, it's just like, sweet as, we just win.
There was just so much going on. Always good to get that prediction right as well, Skimmy. I know you're going to pull out ahead of Kitty now, so here's the new leader on the couch at least. But look, second place, Direwolves, they're there. They played astoundingly. Siuman as well, just all over the place. That the Yuumi buff, you know, that extra movement speed, man was just reading them like a book with those chains all damn game. Even, look, that level 1, you could tell they did their research. You were talking, you were saying you didn't have time to talk about the vision, but it's what Poltron was sort of leading into with that interview, right? He was saying, oh, look, we've studied what BalKhan does, we've studied these guys, we know what we kind of want to do. And even with that Poltron with, what is it, level 3 invade, trying to steal that blue buff, if he got a little helping hand there, that could have been successful. So a lot of different moments, but individual skill, it just seemed like you'd usually say PGG, they're the ones you're talking about when you mention individual skill, but Direwolves today, they all came to play, they all came to win, and Kitty, win they did.
I would actually say that Direwolves is the second most consistent team out of the entire league other than Chiefs, and they've definitely proved it in this game. And I really want to applaud that they actually did really well in that early game blue buff fight where they got a 2-for-0 trade and it only took 1 ignite and it got them 2 kills. So that's why Siuman was extremely ahead in that early Drake fight, which I think they played really well because they kind of made it an extended fight where the Yuumi and Sylas with the Conqueror healed up, and that just made them extremely ahead. And Siuman has actually been playing so well, other than like maybe 2 mistakes over how many games? How many games have they played? 10? No, not 10, sorry. 7
This is the
games.
7th game, end of the first round.
7 games. Other than like 1 mistake from that 1 game, I think Siuman has been playing so amazing, and I can't compliment him enough.
Who's better than Siuman right now? You got Tally.
Tally's
Tally 100% is best performing right now. He's like 100 CS in every game.
Yeah.
As a lead.
Yeah.
And then who? Right? Like, you want to say Yuri, maybe Kisei, but...
Well, look, I think I actually have someone we could ask who's better than him at the moment, and it's Bulldawg, because we got him on the line. So, the dog, he's here. How's that one taste? How's that one feel?
Hey, that was for the uwoos. I got the Yuumi on there. I got the Yuumi, baby. Yeah, meow, meow.
What a bloody game.
Bulldawg, more like BalKhan, am I right? Well, instead of that, let's talk about your level 1 invade. We did have Poltron in his previous interview saying that you guys had a bit of studying on BalKhan. So how did you guys plan that out, and how did you guys receive that execution?
I mean, the comms were just, I'm going to wall bot side, and we all sit top side for the Rakan cheese of a Baron pit wall. And then when we saw them 3-manning our blue, we're just like, it's a free fight. Give me that. Yoink.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, look, we were having this conversation. Who's better than Siuman at the moment in the mid lane? Tally's name was mentioned, but other than that, is there anyone? Because he was all over the place today, all over the rift.
Who's Tally? Who's that? I don't know who that is, girl. Siuman on top, baby.
Exactly what I wanted to hear.
You were indeed on top of Siuman, but I was talking...
Nah, yeah, I got you.
Bulldawg's like, that's kind of sus.
Sure.
Not sus, not sus. It's a fact. But
Hey, it's Pride Month.
you guys are currently second with just beating PG, and I just mentioned this in the post game that Direwolves is the second most consistent team under Chiefs. So what do you think after? Well, we are approaching the first round robin. So what are your thoughts on the team so far?
Sheesh, we just too good, Kitty. Come on, now we too good. Our synergy's all there, baby. High fives all around. Yeah.
Oh, can I have one? Wait, down a little bit. Down here. Yep. Thanks, brother. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I got you.
That was
Perfect
great.
execution. Look, I think we'll leave it there, Bulldawg. Congrats on the win. That was a much quicker game than what we were all expecting.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Good to see the big man. He was very happy.
Having too much fun in that interview.
Mate, were he having too much fun or were you having too much fun? I think you
We
were getting a little bit.
were having too much fun in the LCO.
fan.
Yes, we indeed. I agree. Now that was a game, and we have to talk about it there. MVP. I feel like there's only one contender, one big contender, and it's the man we were already talking about. That's Siuman, right?
Yep.
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 Yep. Beautiful. All right. Well, their MVP
Mate,
for
mate.
the second game, for the match of the week, which ended up being a pretty damn quick game, but a great game to watch nonetheless, is Siuman. Man, 10-0-2. Goes through it deathless. It was everywhere with almost 30% of the damage share from the team. He was doing work in mid, but also all over the damn map as well, Kitty.
You know, Rusty said that Tally is the best performing mid laner in the current split, but I actually think Siuman is the most mechanical mid laner out of everyone because
You're gonna
he
get
does
tweeted at real quick.
he
you're getting
does play more flashy champions compared to Tally. Come on, Tally is usually on like what, a TF, he presses W twice and like that's a kill.
That's hardcore.
But
Hey, get your phones out. Get your phones out. Kitty's
No,
got
I know,
some haters.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but like, yeah, I'm not gonna have this conversation because we'll go forever, and we're trying to celebrate Dial's winning, not talk about whose dad can beat up whose dad on the Rift.
Yeah.
Well,
On the Rift, of course.
On the Rift. And
On the Rift,
By the
in-game.
way, Siuman himself was the biggest librarian.
He was a
couple
king.
of big reads, big timings, and fortunately he has the glasses as well to back it up. Man, looking smart, looking beautiful, and I'm looking towards ad breaks. Why? Because we got a third game coming up just after this. That, of course, is Gravitas and Peace. So we'll see you after this. Go get hydrated, and I might give you a kiss when we get back. Hey.
Zorenous is still mega. He's got flash as well. He could look to try and shut them into the wall. He hit it onto Yuri, but Yuri went into the blood pool. Out goes the team fight as a result afterwards. Look to try and get that team fight win. Danteh untouched. Danteh so strong. Praedyth is dead. Assassinated by the bear. And Zorenous goes back to Mini, but doesn't fall on down. Double kill for Poltron here, looking for that first ace of the game. Onto the elusive carry of Siuman. Oh, he's got him!
Hey, look, Menulog.
Big wins across the board. Direwolves win. Bulldawg's not going board.
Truth.
He wants me to bark. So he's happy about that one. And we'll just leave it at that. Very low. Honeyfruit comes out. Great engaged. Life steal is going to be of paramount importance. Boys trying to find a way in. Micro, what was that? What a beautiful knockup as he slingshots back and just absolutely crushes them all. Double kill here for Voice. Bulldawg will try and be a hero through that portal. There is the hostile takeover. There is the bailout, but he won't be bailed. He will fall down. There is a double. There is a 6-0 Wukong on my screen. Make it 7. And you know, BalKhan, hurry, tanking up the turret. There is the Quadra. Go on, BalKhan. Give us that Penta.
Stolen by Praedyth. I don't think the Dials will be able to get here in time to stop this one. It's reset. It's reset. Poltron is going to get the pit.
Danteh's killed Corporal. Poltron doing good in trying. 76 HP. Rusty, what on earth are we watching? It's a base race, it looks like.
Senna's going for the base. It's an open Nexus. Yuri's ulting towards it. PGG are backdoors.
Open Nexus versus 2 Nexus turrets. Pinging on through. Guncape goes there. 1 turret's down. They're onto the Nexus itself. It's going down lower. Who can get it quicker?
Oh, he can't tell. That was one hit. That was one hit.
Fizzle on out, and that is the change where the crit comes through on that zap across the wall. Magnet Storm onto the entirety of Direwolves, and can now Chiefs turn things around? A Cyclone to follow things up, and they hit the crushing blow. Shut down for Raze.
Darjung has got the Yuumi on him, so they could still have a fighting chance.
Oh,
they're going.
The chance! Oh, what a legend. What an absolute legend. In they go. He's got golden voice. Has to go in. Stun, connect. Goes with the heel.
That's 3.
What on earth?